It is so important that children engage with the natural world at an early age because nature instills in children valuable life skills like focus, patience, and empathy. There's a calmness at the center of being in nature that counterbalances the frenetic digital world that children are faced with. Volunteers for Wildlife have a unique ability to reach young people with their programs. Since I joined the board, I've seen how these programs are helping to mold future conservationists.
At Volunteers for Wildlife, we do 4 separate things, and they're all interconnected. We rescue wild animals, we rehabilitate them at our hospital, we release them, and we do education. All of them are vitally important.
What should I do if I find a baby bird on the grass?
The best thing to do is to call us right away. Sometimes it's possible to get the baby bird back in the nest or back with its parents, and as much as possible we want them to stay in the wild unless they're injured or truly orphaned.
Volunteers for Wildlife is an incredible organization right here on the North Shore of Long Island. From our home base in Locust Valley, we rehabilitate over 1,500 wild birds and animals each year, and we give in excess of 150 educational programs to children and adults.
Thank you for calling Volunteers for Wildlife's Wildlife Hospital and Education Center located at Bailey Arboretum in Locust Valley, New York.
Volunteers for Wildlife, how can I help you? Okay, what's your name? And what town are you in? We are so impressed by the dedication and compassion of people who bring us these baby animals. These people go to great lengths to rescue and transport these animals. We're a wildlife hospital on Long Island. Can you bring the bird to us? Spring and summer are the busiest seasons for wildlife rehabilitators. We admit hundreds of injured and orphaned baby animals. All of these animals come to us in critical condition and require care around the clock. Some of them need to be fed as frequently as every 15 minutes, and most of them need treatments throughout the night. Without us, they would have no ability to survive. As a wildlife rehabilitator, when I feed these animals and take care of them, I think about what life will be like for them when they return to the wild. Once they're strong enough and at the appropriate age, our next challenge is to reintroduce them to the wild. With that in mind, we have a very narrow time frame to do so. If these animals stay in our care for too long, they'll become habituated towards people and will never survive in the wild. A huge milestone for me is when I see these animals who came in so young and so helpless start to eat on their own, start to walk on their own, or if it's a baby bird, flap its wings and start to fly on its own. And it makes me really feel proud of the work that I've done. Here at Volunteers for Wildlife, that's really what it's all about, getting these baby animals back to their rightful homes in nature. So this baby bird is an American robin. He came to us when he was just hatched. He had fallen from his nest, and we raised him at our wildlife center. We fed him every 30 minutes from sun up to sundown. They eat worms and fruit, and now he's at the point where he can fly, and he's old enough, and we're gonna set him free back in the wild. So this bird is about 4 weeks old. He leaves the nest when he's about 2.5 weeks old, and for the past few weeks he's been learning how to fly. So actually, a member of the public found him in their backyard, and they called us on our hotline, and they brought him to our center. His nest was destroyed, so we tried to put him back up, but unfortunately there was no more nest to put him in. There he is.
I felt really good when the baby birds were released. The birds were cute and well taken care of, and I felt good when they went because they could make new friends and grow up and have babies.
My job is to get kids outside. I am a professional environmental educator, and my classroom is on the water, it's in the meadow, it's in the forest. Through my affiliation with other environmental organizations, I've been able to help bring the Volunteers for Wildlife programs to a more diverse audience, and the response has been absolutely overwhelming from both adults and children.
I'm very proud of our hardworking board of directors. One of them, Skip Doman, recently won a prestigious award for his wildlife educational presentations.
As wildlife educator, I take our programs out to schools, camps, and public events. We include live resident animals in our programs, which really allow the children to connect with nature. I believe these kids can really relate to these resident animals because of their own circumstances. I get across a message to each of the children that they too can make a difference in the world. And I provide examples. Our own Sally Rupert, who was a retired World War II nurse that founded our organization, and also Rachel Carson, the noted biologist who wrote the book Silent Spring. I encourage our kids to get out to the beautiful parks and reserves on Long Island to see if they themselves can spot some of the animals that I've introduced to them.
In addition to our board of directors, we have a wonderful advisory board. We have a very small, dedicated, and talented paid staff. And we have a cadre of some 65 volunteers, all of whom help run our organization. It costs almost $300,000 a year to run our wildlife education programs and our rehabilitation hospital. None of this is possible without friends like you. For your continued support, we are truly grateful.